Imagine you're strolling down some train tracks, jamming to your favorite tunes, when suddenly, boom! You never hear the train coming. Or how about this? You're one of the founding members of America who decides to shove a whalebone down his penis. What could go wrong, right? Well, stick around to find out just how wrong things can go. This video is for you. Hello everyone, welcome to Wow Amazing. In this video, we will go through our Volume 6 of the top 10 most stupid Darwin Award winners. But before we begin, we would like you guys to subscribe to Wow Amazing and hit the notification bell so you do not miss out on amazing and entertaining content that will surely get you amazed. Oh, and by the way, watch this video till the very end and you will be rewarded with a very special bonus candidate who did something so stupid that you might end up feeling like Einstein. Now let's jump right in with our first contender for the Darwin Awards. Number 10, music plus trains equals bad mixtape. It's a crisp November day in 2006, and you're walking along some railroad tracks in Michigan. Sounds peaceful, doesn't it? Well, not if you're our first Darwin Award winner. This 20-year-old guy decided that a stroll down the tracks was the perfect time to catch up on his playlist. Now we've all been there, lost in our music, oblivious to the world around us. But most of us aren't doing it in the path of a speeding train. Here's the thing, trains are loud, like really loud. They've got these massive horns that can wake the dead. But our musical maestro here, he's got his headphones cranked up so high, he might as well be in his own little concert. The train engineer spots our guy and starts blasting the horn. Once, twice, 3 times, but nada. Our Darwin contender is in his own world. Now let's play a little game. What song do you think he was listening to? Highway to Hell? The Final Countdown? Or maybe it was Bob Dylan's Slow Train Coming. Whatever the tune, it turned out to be his final song. Number 9, Paybacks a Boom. All right, let's take a trip to Serbia for our next Darwin Award winner. Meet Strahinja Raseta, a 23-year-old guy who clearly never learned the crime doesn't pay lesson. Now, Strahinja wasn't your average Joe. Oh no, this guy was wanted by Croatian police for murder and for pulling off a spectacular robbery of a central post office. Talk about an overachiever in the wrong direction. But even bad guys have friends, right? And one of Strahinja's pals was generous enough to lend him a cool 15,000 euros to help him flee to Serbia and escape the long arm of the law. Now that's what I call a ride or die friendship. Here's where things get interesting. Strahinja, being the upstanding citizen he was, found himself in a bit of a pickle. He couldn't earn or steal enough to pay back his friend. Now, most of us would maybe get a job at McDonald's or start a GoFundMe, but not our boy Strahinja. No, he had a much more explosive idea. Strahinja decides the best way to settle his debt is to, wait for it, murder his friend. Because nothing says thanks for the loan like a homemade bomb, right? So our criminal mastermind crawls under his friend's Jeep to plan a repayment R brand explosive. But here's where karma decided to step in and do a little dance. The muffler of the Jeep was still hot. And you know what doesn't mix well with heat? Explosives. Boom! Kapow! The bomb goes off while Strahinja is still under the vehicle. Our not-so-brilliant bomber ended up in a Belgrade hospital, where he eventually kicked the bucket. I guess you could say his plan to avoid repayment blew up in his face. Now let me ask you this. What's the craziest thing you've ever done to get out of repaying a loan? Drop it in the comments below. But please, keep it legal. We don't want any more Darwin Award contenders out there. Number 8, chemistry went to her head. We're heading to Bulgaria for our next Darwin Award winner. It's a sunny February afternoon in 2008, and we're about to meet Lydia, a biology teacher who's about to give us all a lesson in what not to do with leftover chemicals. So Lydia's driving 2 friends home from a memorial service. Suddenly their car stops. Now, most of us would call a tow truck or pop the hood, right? But not our Lydia. Oh no, she's got a much more explosive idea. Bystanders watch in confusion as all 3 occupants leap out of the car and make a beeline for a nearby manhole. And then, like some bizarre street performance, they start pouring liquids and powders from various bottles and jars down the drain. Now let's pause for a moment. What do you think was going through Lydia's mind? Was this some kind of impromptu science experiment? A desperate attempt to dispose of evidence? Or maybe she just really hated the local sewer system. Whatever her reasoning, It turns out Lydia had been moonlighting as a chemist in her spare time. And apparently she decided that the best way to get rid of her leftover noxious chemicals was to create a cocktail in the sewers. Because what could possibly go wrong with mixing random chemicals in an enclosed space, right? Among her colorful concoction were diethyl ether and methanol, both highly flammable liquids. Now, for those of you who slept through chemistry class, let me break it down. Flammable liquids plus enclosed space equals big boom boom. The chemical cocktail caused an explosion so powerful that it launched the manhole cover into the air like a frisbee from hell. And poor Lydia? Let's just say she lost her head over the whole situation. Literally. Number 7, geocaching out. For this next story, we're heading to the Czech Republic, and let me tell you, this story's got it all. Adventure, mystery, and a whole lot of water where it shouldn't be. It's June 9th, 2018, and the weather forecast is showing storms and torrential rains. Now, what would you do on a day like that? Stay in with a good book? Binge watch your favorite show? Well, if you're our 4 intrepid geocachers, you decide it's the perfect day for an underground adventure. For those of you who don't know, geocaching is like a high-tech treasure hunt, but our 4 friends weren't just looking for any old cache. Oh no, they were after a mystery cache in a dark, dank underground tunnel. On a sunny day, the entrance to the Matolsky Brook might not look too ominous, but it's pouring rain, there's a surging creek, and a dark hole leading who knows where. These 4 geocaching enthusiasts ignored the basic safety motto, if rains, no drains. I mean, it's not rocket science, water goes down drains. You don't want to be in those drains when it does. So there they are, prowling around underground, probably feeling pretty Indiana Jones-ish, when suddenly a wave comes surging through the channel. And we're not talking about a little splash here. This was a gigantic wave that washed 2 of our adventurers all the way to the Vltava River near Prague. 2 of them survived, and a 27-year-old woman was found drowned beneath the Jurasek Bridge. And the 4th member of the party? Still missing. Number 6, Abu Hammam's last stand. Buckle up, because our next Darwin Award winner is going to blow your mind, quite literally. Meet Abu Hammam, a 62-year-old man from Gaza with a rather interesting day job. You see, Abu wasn't just your average Joe. Oh no, he was a founding member of Hamas. Now, you'd think someone in Abu's line of work would know their way around a weapon, right? Well, it's January 30th, 2018, and Abu's at home probably thinking, you know what I haven't done in a while? Examine my personal weapon. Because that's totally a normal thing people do on a Tuesday afternoon. So there he is checking out his gun when suddenly, bang, he accidentally discharges it into his face. I'll give you a moment to let that sink in. Now, most people would call it quits after shooting themselves in the face, but not our Abu. Oh no, he held on for 21 whole days before finally kicking the bucket. Number 5, a closer look at Victoria Falls. It's New Year's Eve, 2004, and we're about to meet Michael, a 50-year-old man who's about to take sightseeing to a whole new level. Imagine you're standing on the 100-year-old Victoria Falls Bridge, straddling the border between Zimbabwe and Zambia. Now Michael isn't just any tourist. Oh no, he's the headmaster at Summit College in Johannesburg and a highly regarded lecturer at geography conferences. So you'd think he'd have a pretty good grasp on the whole gravity thing, right? Well, there's Michael, taking in the view with his girlfriend, probably feeling on top of the world. Then disaster strikes. He drops his glasses over the edge. Now, most of us would say, well, that sucks, and carry on with our lives. But not our Michael. Oh no, he decides he simply must retrieve them. So Michael, aware of the risk, because you know, geography expert and all, starts edging out on the slick rim. He's reaching, stretching, probably thinking, I've almost got them, when suddenly, oops, gravity decides to remind him who's boss. Down he goes, falling 40 meters to his death. I guess you could say he really fell for those glasses. Remember the bonus winner I mentioned that we'll save to the end? Well, it's coming, I promise. And yes, it does involve putting a whalebone where it shouldn't go. So let's go. Number 4, kitty toy. Our next story's got it all. Crime, chase scenes, and tigers? It's December 18th, 2005, and 2 muggers are working a crowd in South Africa. They've just snatched a cell phone and purse from a couple at knife point. But then, plot twist, the woman screams, and our dynamic duo of dummies decides it's time to split. One of our muggers is clearly not a gym enthusiast, as he watches his partner in crime disappear into the distance. He's got a stitch in his side that feels like he's been stabbed in the back. What's an out-of-shape criminal to do? Well, our genius spots a high fence and thinks, I'll just hop over that and I'll be home free. So he musters up his last burst of energy, leaps the fence, and ta-da, he's safe. No one followed him. He's feeling pretty smug about now, I bet. But wait, our mugger failed to notice one tiny itsy-bitsy detail. He wasn't just anywhere. Oh no, he had jumped into the Bloemfontein Zoo. And not just any part of the zoo. He landed smack dab in the middle of the Bengal tiger enclosure. Our not-so-nimble mugger quickly went from predator to prey as the tigers decided to use him as their very own kitty toy. In a final touch of irony, the police said they'd conduct a post-mortem to determine the exact cause of death. Because you know it's really a mystery how a guy who jumped into a tiger enclosure ended up dead. Number 3, the nuisance of seatbelts. Buckle up, or don't if you're anything like our next Darwin Award winner. We're heading to Nebraska where we meet Derek, a 21-year-old college senior who had some strong opinions about seatbelts. It's September, and Derek's feeling pretty passionate. So passionate, in fact, that he pens an impassioned Declaration of Independence. From seatbelts. Yes, you heard that right. Our boy Derek wrote an entire article for his college newspaper about why seatbelt laws are, in his words, intrusive and ridiculous. Now, Derek wasn't your average Joe. He was a straight-A student, majoring in 5 subjects, and planning to go to law school. He was so smart, he even tutored friends in subjects he didn't take. But as we're about to find out, good grades don't always equal common sense. Fast forward to January 5th, 2005. Derek's returning from a holiday in San Antonio, Texas. He's in the back seat of a Ford Explorer, and guess what? He's not wearing a seatbelt. Now let's pause for a moment. If you were writing an article about not wearing seatbelts, what would be your main argument? It's uncomfortable. It wrinkles my clothes? Well, Derek's crowning argument was, and I quote, if I want to be the jerk that flirts with death, I should be able to do that. So there's Derek, sitting pretty in the back seat, free from the tyranny of seatbelts. The driver and front seat passenger, clearly sheeple in Derek's eyes, are buckled up. Suddenly, the SUV hits a patch of ice, slides off US 80, and starts rolling. So while his buckled-up companions walked away with minor injuries, our freedom-loving friend Derek took an involuntary flying lesson. He was thrown from the vehicle and died at the scene. Number 2, working at the car wash. For our next Darwin Award winner, meet Manuel, a guy who took the phrase, light up your life, way too literally. It's January 29th, 2003, and Manuel's been working at his job for 2 whole months. His responsibility? Cleaning out the storage tanks of gasoline tanker trucks? Sounds thrilling, right? Now, Manuel's not just any cleaner. Oh no, he's a problem solver, a go-getter. And boy, did he think outside the box on this fateful day. So there's Manuel filling a tanker with water. It's a standard safety procedure to force out any flammable vapor. When he returns, he needs to check if the water level is high enough. But it's dark inside the tanker, and Manuel decided to use his cigarette lighter. Now let's pause for a moment. Remember why Manuel was filling the tank with water in the first place? To get rid of flammable vapor. Vapor that goes boom when it meets flame. Are you seeing where this is going? Our genius lights his lighter, and boom! Turns out the water level wasn't high enough after all. The vapor explosion launches Manuel through the air like a human cannonball. He lands in the company parking lot, a full 100 meters away. Number 1, lights out. All right, we've arrived at our number 1 Darwin Award winner. This story is going to make you see stargazing in a whole new light, quite literally. It's Friday the 13th, August 1999, in California. Scott and his sister Kimberly are gearing up for a night of celestial wonder, hoping to catch the annual Perseid meteor shower. Scott, our aspiring young astronomer, decides to set up his telescope for a closer view of the sky. Now, any amateur stargazer worth their salt knows that using a telescope to watch meteor showers is like trying to drink soup with a fork. The wide field of vision of the naked eye is far better for catching those shooting stars, especially if you're away from city lights. But our boy Scott isn't just a poor astronomer. Oh no, he's about to prove he's not much of an electrician either. Bothered by the glare of a nearby streetlight, Scott decides to take matters into his own hands. He breaks into the base of the light pole and attempts to sever the 4,000-volt power cord. At 1 a.m., armed with pliers and a saw, Scott pries open an inspection plate at the base of the streetlight and starts sawing into the 2-centimeter wire. His sister Kimberly, probably wondering if she should have stayed home to watch reruns instead, sees a flash that knocks Scott onto his back. Scott may not have seen any shooting stars that Friday the 13th, but he certainly saw some stars of a different kind. Bonus entry, Killer Whalebone. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for, our special bonus Darwin Award winner. Let's take a trip back in time to November 6, 1816. Meet Gouverneur Morris, a founding father of the United States. So Morris is in New York City, probably feeling pretty good about himself. He's helped found a nation after all. But then he encounters a little problem, a blockage in his urinary tract. Now, what would you do in this situation? See a doctor? Take some cranberry juice? Well, if you're Gouverneur Morris, you think, hey, I know, I'll shove a whalebone up there. Yes, you heard that right. This intelligent and influential man decided that the best way to clear a blockage in his nether regions was to use a piece of whale as a makeshift catheter. So our historic Darwin Award winner should have known better. He should have known to go see a doctor. But no, he decided to play urologist with a piece of sea creature. Unsurprisingly, this brilliant idea led to an infection. And not just any infection, one so bad that it killed him. Now, I've got a question for all you DIY enthusiasts out there. What's the craziest home remedy you've ever tried? Drop it in the comments below, but please keep it less invasive than Morris's whalebone adventure. Okay, and that's it for today's video. Tell us down in comments which of these deaths was the stupidest. And do you know any other Darwin Award winner that deserves to be on this list? And guys, wait right here. You are missing an essential step. Don't forget to share this video with your friends. Also, subscribe to Wow Amazing and press the bell icon so you are one of the first ones to get wowed every time we upload a new video.